Let the healing begin. Ladies and gentlemen, the All American hard rock band that we've all been waiting for has arrived. Welcome to the very first ride of Nobody You Know. Tonight, on this auspicious occasion, we're flipping the switch, turning it up way past 10. What better way to kick off this premiere episode than with my very first guest, the man behind the mic of 77 Shakedown. Tracks like Shelter Me and Still Miss You, two of my favorite tracks on this record. I absolutely love those two songs. You know, tonight we're actually going to talk a little bit also about the stories and the truth straight from the man himself.
Name's a nightmare, but yeah, go ahead.
Theron Contos. So let's just dive right on in. Theron Contos, welcome to Nobody You Know.
Thanks, Steven. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
My God. First of all, I love the record. I absolutely love Mojave Dust. So tell all of the listeners, where are you sprung from, as we say here in Texas, and what was the inspiration behind Mojave Dust?
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that a lot. It actually came out a couple of years ago. So I'm working on the second one. Currently working on the second one. Right here, here's the I got it pressed on vinyl. So here's the vinyl. I grew up with listening to old trucker country, 70s, 80s country, and my dad was listening to that, like CCR and stuff like that, a lot of rootsy California rock and roll. And then when I was in high school, the whole 80s thing blew up, and it was just, all the 80s hard rock bands and the glam bands and all that. People call it hair metal, but I don't like that term. I think it denigrates the genre that I love. So I was way into that, Cinderella and Tesla, and huge Guns N' Roses fan. The sun rose and set to Appetite for Destruction for me as a kid, and then their second album came out, Lies, which was all acoustic, and I thought, wow, that's a cool departure. And I just figured, well, I might be able to learn Patience, because it seemed to be a pretty, three-chord cowboy song kind of. So I was just picking up the guitar, and my buddy in high school, Julio, he was a big guitarist. He kind of taught me a few things, and I'm just self-taught. I'm just a strummer. I just know the basic cowboy chords, and I love writing music. So writing music's like my passion. And
it definitely shows, for sure.
Thanks. Yeah. So that first album is just a combination of kind of CCR, Leonard Skinner, acoustic Guns N' Roses, and Cinderella, and all that kind of stuff. Just American hard rock.
When was the first incarnation of 77 Shakedown?
Well, yeah, it's basically something I started. I didn't want to go as a solo project. I just wanted to get a band, like the idea of a band, and whoever wanted to come in and play, would be great. And, my friend Jeff Marshall is my guitarist, and he's awesome. He helps me with my songs, structuring the whole thing, and his guitar work is just better than I could ever ask for. The guy's awesome. I met him in Bakersfield. He was doing a gig up there, and I just loved his tone and everything. And after the set, I was like, "This is great. I love this. Your sound is awesome." And he goes, "I have a studio in North Hollywood," and he said, "Come on down, show me what you got." And we just started working on songs, and I put that album together. And he's the core. Him and I are the core. People. He lays down all the guitar work, and I give him the structure of the songs, and we just put it all together, and it's been great. And we're doing the second album. And my buddy Tyler Heath, he's a vocalist, and he does co-lead on a couple songs, and he's part of the band. And I'm getting kind of a lot of my childhood heroes that I love on this record, which is great. Guys I grew up with. I've been kind enough to play on some of the tracks, so I absolutely can't wait to release it. These guys are my heroes, so it's been awesome.
I actually first learned about 77 Shakedown and Theron Contos, the man himself, uh, by listening to a show called Talk Louder. And I actually, it's one of my buddies, Jason McMaster from the infamous Dangerous Toys.
Oh, dude.
And I
Yeah,
heard,
great.
uh, yeah, I know. uh, I heard them just going back and forth on this guy Theron, and I'm like, who are they talking about? And then they start talking about the album, and then I'm like, I gotta find this album. I mean, they're talking about it like it's like brand new. So I'm like, oh my God.
That's awesome. That makes me happy, man. Jason's one of my all-time heroes, and we're working on he's playing on a track on the album. He's singing on a track on the album, and he just absolutely nailed his. He's just. I grew up with Jason. He's just Dangerous Toys was just an amazing band. I loved them. I never got to see him back in the day, unfortunately, but I saw him recently in Texas. I went out there, and he just crushed it, man. He's sounded better than ever. I just love the guy. He's a broken teeth. He's in this band too. So that's cool. And Dave, his co-host, is a buddy of mine. He's a great dude, man.
Yeah, we go way back to, gosh, before Dangerous Toys was, God, a band called Watchtower. I'm sorry, I
Oh,
should know
yeah.
this by my, like in my sleep. I should know this. So, yeah, I've known Jason since the Watchtower days. And then, I did a very short stint with Guns N' Roses when they first came out. And I'm talking like fresh out of the box, just came out. I was did a small little tour with them, part of the road crew, and that was that's for another episode, that's for sure.
Dude, I love to
But
hear that. So
I
cool.
oh, it was amazing. It was just early on, just really early on in for the Appetite for Destruction album was just released, and basically just thrown out there on the road kind of situation. But I remember. Jason's band, Dangerous Toys, was pretty much breaking around the same time. And so it was incredible. The timing was amazing. It couldn't have been planned better. And man, that whole band, just the songs that came out of all of those guys was just phenomenal.
That era is my favorite era of music of all. I mean, from basically 87 to 91 as my favorite era. That's when, for me, all the best music came out, all the good hard rock came out at that time. It was so short-lived, but I mean, you had Junkyard, Sea Hag, uh, Guns N' Roses, all those bands were just great, man.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. It's surreal at that time and you got to go back in time, right? And I was like, man, used to go see Jason all the time with Watchtower, but then to see them explode on a national level, it was just it it was amazing, man.
I I I was there. I was there as a 15, 16-year-old buying those albums up, and that Jason Dangerous Toys was on tour with Alice Cooper and Motorhead and Judas Priest. It was called Operation Rock and Roll, maybe like 1990. And I was so close to going, and then I don't think I could get a ride out there or whatever. It was right kind of near where I was living at the time. They were playing at Shoreline Amphitheater in the Bay Area, and I missed it, man. That's one of my biggest rock and roll regrets was missing that tour and seeing them in their prime.
I actually was hired to be the guitar tech for one of my all-time rock and roll heroes. He was a lead guitar player for the band Riot out of New York City. Yeah, Mark Reale. Mark Reale was the yes, Riot, Riot.
Yeah,
Nothing quiet about that Riot.
yeah. No, that's cool. That's a great band. So you were guitar
Yeah,
tech,
so I
you were guitar teching for these?
yeah, I was guitar teching for Mark. I call him the legend. I just had no And while he was alive, I don't think he realized how many guitar gods, if you will, respected him.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. I
yeah,
mean, he was a huge fan of Mark Reality's. You have Kirk Hammett, who knew? I mean, I didn't know any of this. Mark didn't even know this, but man, Kirk Hammett was a huge
really.
Mark Reality fan. Slash, the list really goes on, man.
That's
But
a
a lot of great stories there. I really wanted to find out. It just seems like it's such a great album. Okay, I it doesn't sound like it was done in 2022, if that makes any sense. I
yeah.
mean, it sounds brand new. It sounds fresh. It's something that we've all been waiting for, and that's your band, 77 Shakedown. So,
Cool, man.
what's the inspiration behind it? All of it. What's the inspiration?
The inspiration is just, I missed the boat when I was younger in terms of being in a band. A lot of all my buddies were in bands, but I just wanted to write, and I never really thought I could, play out. I'm more of an introvert, so, but I always loved rock and roll. It was just like, so I was just in my room writing songs, and I just kind of put it on the back burner, and life took different directions, and I did other things, and then I was like, you know what? I just got to do it. I got to bite the bullet and find a guitarist and find myself a band and get this album that's been, that I've been writing. I wrote the first half of that album. Those are super old songs from, when I was 18, 19. The first few songs are like that. And then the rest I wrote as I went and as I was recording the album, and I'm like, "Oh, this is working." Jeff just kind of made these songs come alive with, this guitar work, and I'm like, "Oh, this is working." So as we were doing the album, I was writing, and then the second half of the album basically is all the songs that I wrote during those sessions. And I just, yeah, it just having it come out and having a tangible vinyl that I've always wanted as a kid, and put it in my collection with all my other, coveted bands. It's awesome. And I want to, I've done acoustic shows and stuff like that. So when this next album comes out, I want to do a little tour, you know, put a band together and do a tour behind it. That's my next thing.
When first of all, when's that coming out? And secondly, what was the idea behind that record?
Well, the the first one, the idea of Mojave Dust is, the desert's always meant a lot to me. My dad would take us on road trips as a kid, and we would go in the wintertime to the desert, and just I love the beauty of it. And it was, the Mojave Desert in California. Just the desert it's kind of cliche, but it really does speak to you like as an artist. And you go out there, and it's just it inspires the hell out of me, so going out there. So I try to go down there as much as I can. But as a kid, doing the road trips and listening to, Charlie Daniels, CCR, Leonard Skinner, and all that stuff, it just, Mojave Dust, it's just the name just kind of hit me. I'm like, okay, this kind of encapsulates that romantic view of that era and that time in my life. So, and then the second album,
I love I loved it, man, and I still do. It's right now, it's my favorite album.
dude, that means a lot to me. Thank you. That really means a lot to me. Appreciate that, dude. Just having people say that, they enjoy my music and they listen to it, it blows me away. It just blows me away. And I have so many people that have bought my record, and I'm just so thankful that people actually listen. Super cool.
I love the guitar phrasing on the whole record. The phrasing is insane.
Yeah.
It takes me on a journey. Uh, every song, I mean, I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, I'd like to think you could pop it in your car, or not pop it in, but listen to it on a road trip. That's kind of the idea behind it. That's kind of the idea behind the first album. The second album is a little more, down and dirty rock and roll, a little less road trippy and just more rock and roll, like gutter rock and roll.
Well, I got one for you. So when fans are blasting Mojave Dust on a late night drive, what do you hope they're feeling?
I mean, just I don't know. I hope songs can like trigger memories in people. Like kind of trigger something that happened to you, and you can relate to the song because you relate to that lyric or you relate to that feeling it gives you. Because that's what to me music is. Music. If I hear something, even if I've never heard the song before, sometimes there's a built-in nostalgia in that song that just kind of hits me. Even if I've never heard the song, it gives me a nostalgic feeling for something. So to me, that's what the essence of like feeling music is, you know. So you can get some kind of emotion out of it, which is what I love. I love ballads, man. I'm a sucker for for ballads. So.
That's what the 80s was all about.
What's that? What's that?
That's what the 80s were all about.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I grew up with all that shit, like
Yeah.
all those power ballads. Like Every Rose Has a Storm is the second song I ever learned. I just think that's such a great fucking cowboy song. That's a country song to me.
Oh,
Brett.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then the second one's gonna take me a while. It's been taking me a while, but it's been a cool journey because I have Jason on the record. I got Pat Mazingo from Junkyard is on drums, and he's one of my favorite drummers. Like I was, just so stoked that he said yes, he would play on the album, and he just nailed the tracks. And then I got Jimmy Ashurst from Izzy Stradlin's band. I love that Juju Hounds record, and he's just a legend. And he's awesome, man. I love that guy. Tim Mosier from Junkyard's on it.
So,
It's just
yeah, I noticed that. There was a lot of junkyard influence in there. What, I mean, I still can't believe that David Roach is gone.
man.
He was an amazing frontman, vocalist
Oh yeah.
that led the entire Sun during the 80s. I mean, come on.
Oh, David was great, man. It's a real huge loss. That hit me hard. That one. He's just one of my favorites. So that was a tough one for me. Him and Ozzy like really
I
shook
got
me.
to,
So
yeah, for sure. You mentioned earlier that Jason McMaster is going to be doing a track or two on the new record.
yeah, he did. He sang on one of my songs. Yeah, he sang on a track, and I was just very thankful for that he was kind enough to do that with me, and he just nailed it. That was great. It was great
That's awesome.
going back and forth with him, and it's surreal when a guy that you were watching and listening to, and you're like 14 years old, and you're kind of going over how he's going to sing a song I wrote. It's just like he's asking me questions, and I'm hitting him back with examples of his music. And hey, remember when you did this in Best of Friends on the Acres album? That's the vibe I love, and it's just he's just so cool, man. He's just such a good guy and like talented, and
And down to earth.
I'm so grateful for it, man. Yeah, all these guys, dude, all
Yeah,
these guys
he right.
just like brought it, and that's what I'm saying. It's been a journey, a long journey, like 3 or 4 years now. It'll probably be by the time I release it, but whatever. It's my rock and roll thing. I don't have any illusions about it going anywhere, but just to have it, have another one on my shelf.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, man. I hope so. It'd be great. But it's
So,
just, I do it from me.
and that's a place you have to come from on that, because that's, if you do it for any other reason, it really doesn't pan out for folks. But if it's
Yeah,
coming from the heart, man, you can't go wrong.
that's how I feel, man. That's actually absolutely how I feel.
No, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. When you were talking about how somebody you were listening to at a younger age, like Jason McMaster, and then you're having to go over parts of a song you wrote with him, it's surreal to say the least. That's the way it was for me. Because in high school, my favorite band of all time was the band Riot. Riot out of New York City was
Yeah,
my ultimate band. I mean, I had the pins on my leather jacket, everything, right? And
that's
then 2 years later, out of high school, I get a call from a really good friend of mine who is the bass player and still carrying on the tradition with Riot, a wonderful guy by the name of Don Van Stavern. He's the bass player and just a driving force in the band to this day still. But
yeah,
I literally owe that whole journey with Riot to Don Van Stavern. He's just a great guy, still is a great guy. And
yeah,
like I said, he's carrying on the Riot tradition. So, like I said, man, it's surreal when you're like, man, this band is the shit, right? And then next thing you know, you're working for them. You're going to Japan with them. You're flying on a jumbo 747 with them, and on and on. And then so many of my other music industry journeys were because of that experience, that knowledge. Certain people meeting this band in Japan, meeting that band, saying, "Hey, what are you doing when you get back to the States?" And on and on. So, yeah,
yeah.
man, I totally get it.
I remember when we were going back and forth. You were talking about was it that Udo guy in Japan? Were you
Yes,
telling me?
Mr. Udo, Mr. Udo.
Yeah. He. I remember reading. I think in the Dirt about what Motley Crue put that dude through. Mr. Udo.
Oh yeah.
He had to like kind of
Oh, I mean,
wrangle all these bands, right? Like, uh, and take them. He was kind of the guy that would usher you through Japan and like show you the ropes when you're there. So he had a fucking hands full with Motley Crue. I remember.
he had his hands full with a lot of bands
Yeah,
that went through there.
I'm sure.
I mean, when we were there, all of they have people that they're called handlers
Right.
when you're there to make sure nobody, basically, so nobody fucks with you, right? And
Yeah.
it's they were always telling us stories about like the band that was there before us, like Bullet Boys and this and that happened and blah blah blah. I won't go into those stories, but uh, yeah. So let's just say it was quite interesting every time an American band went to Japan, and during that time there was no Live Nation Japan. So Mr. Udo literally brought over. He was the only one that could uh, number one afford it, but to have the staff and the production to bring over the Rolling Stones, to bring over Brian Adams, to bring
Yeah.
over, Bon Jovi, whatever. So he's the only guy. He was the only game in town, and I'm so sorry we lost him as well. But I will always cherish the memories of Mr. Udo, because to go there is quite an experience. That the whole, like, we would go there, and we were there for 14 days, but we only had 10 shows. Some of those days were travel days on the bullet train, et cetera, et cetera. So uh, just learning about the culture, the
Yeah.
people there are phenomenal. The culture, and quite frankly, I think 77 Shakedown would do great in Japan.
Oh man,
I think y'all would be
I would love.
a
I'd love to do a run in Japan. That'd be cool. I mean, that Japan seems
oh
like a place where they really like cherish American rock and roll. Like it's kind of special. That they're in like it's like metal in Argentina, or metal in Brazil. Like, but I think the Japanese have a little more of a sensibility for hard rock. It's like the place for hard rock as opposed to maybe metal. I mean, I'm sure they love metal too, but I always hear about the hard rock bands going out there and just having a blast.
Oh, we tore it up.
Yeah.
The drummer that we had both times we went, Bobby Drzonbeck, really good friends with Jason as well. Jason knows all about Bobby J. Bobby started out with a local band here called Juggernaut, then went on to obviously play with Riot, but then Fates Warning, Halford. After Halford departed Judas Priest for a little bit, then he went on to do drums for Sebastian Bach. Now, Bobby J is now the official and has been for several years now the official drummer for George Strait, the king himself.
That's cool. That's a great gig.
Yeah. So yeah, man, and it's really hard to put into words, man. But when I got hired with Riot, my life literally did change. And little did I know what was going to be, coming up. All the different jobs that I'd get because of it. I mean, I'm very humble about it, man. I don't like being braggadocial at all about it. That's one thing
No,
you'll learn about me. I don't like bragging about it, but I still remember the great memories, and I'm humbled by them.
no, that's it then, man. That's cool. I mean, you got those memories. It's like everything else. Why not talk about good memories, That's cool.
Yep. Tell me, man, what's coming up in the future for 77 Shakedown and Theron Contos?
Well, just to get this album finished, I'm trying to, I'm at the tail end. I got about 18 songs. And then I'm going to probably pare it down to about 12 and then start releasing release these, maybe, I don't know how it's done anymore, what the protocol is, but I want to get the album finished and mixed and then release singles, release the album and then singles. I don't know. I don't know how it's done, but, yeah, I just got to get the album mixed and mastered. And then, Tyler, who I was telling you about earlier, he's got like a record vinyl. He's got basically a record label. So he presses, he's pressed Jason's records with Broken Teeth. His band's called Leather
Mm-hmm.
Dutch. They're great. Press them and Mojave Dust. So I'll get it pressed on that album or on that label, and then I'll have another, album. People are buying tapes now here, so I might release some tapes. I don't know if anybody's listening to CDs anymore,
The
but
cassettes are making a comeback.
yeah, cassettes, yeah. So yeah, just I gotta find a mixer. I'm not sure if I'm gonna mix it myself or what I'm gonna do about the mix. The mix is always the huge pain in the ass part of the whole thing. A bad mix can ruin the album, so you gotta find the right, right, the right fit, I guess. So yeah, so I'm hoping to be.
So
hoping to be done. I'll be done by the end of the year. This year's going by fast.
okay, absolutely, man, with a bullet. Are you signed to a label or are you just doing this independently right now?
I'm doing it independently. I'm with Revolt Vinyl Records, is Tyler's record label, and that he releases vinyl on. So release it through him, through that label. I'm basically on that label. But as far as like a label
Oh,
label, no, label, no, it's just release it myself. Spotify, YouTube, the whole thing. Which is
and
cool because
nowadays, to be quite
anybody.
honest with you, you don't need the label.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's cool because everyone's kind of on the same playing field in a way. But, I just want to get it finished. It's been fun. It's
Yeah,
been fun.
and
I'm
I
wrapping it.
can't wait.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I can't wait for you to hear it. And I'm
And
stoked.
I I
about
want
your
to,
podcast that you're starting us out. This is cool.
well, thank you so much. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to have you, Theron Contos, on the premiere episode of Nobody You Know.
Dude.
It's 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 something I've been wanting to do for years now, actually. And the other podcast kind of jumped in front of it, but I'm here now. I'm loving every minute of it, and I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend this premiere episode with us.
Thanks, dude. I wish you all the best, man. It's cool that you're doing music. I see some of the stuff you got up there. You got some good stuff on your wall.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to put up some Riot album covers. One of my favorites of all time with another dearly departed singer. It just, man, I'm not kidding you, man. The singers from Riot have literally just, you know, been dying, and it's heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
But one of the singers was Rhett Forrester. You got to check those albums out. It was Restless Breed and Born in America. Those two albums Rhett was on, and then one live record, and I forget where that one was recorded. But man, Rhett's vocals were really blues oriented, like Paul Rogers kind of. If you give them two albums a listen, you'll see what I mean. I'm digging everything y'all are doing, Theron, and I wanna keep following you on your success.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor. And good luck with the podcast, dude. Stoked for you. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'd love to have you back on anytime you want to be on.
Absolutely, dude. When I get the album like finished, I'd love to come back on and talk about it.
We'll plug it like crazy.
Right on, brother.
All right, Theron. Do me a favor and have a wonderful weekend. I just wish you the best, and I know that this is just the beginning for you guys, man, because y'all are going to be bigger than All Outdoors. Remember, I'm telling you that today. Y'all are going to be bigger than All Outdoors.
Thanks, Steven. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, bro.
Okay, man. We'll talk soon, okay?
Definitely. Keep in touch.
Okay, brother. Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.